Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm playing with something from the new Christmas collection from Scrappy Tales. These are precious. I do love these little trees. Of course, my brain, went straight to Halloween, and I'm probably going to be making one for Halloween as well. But for now, I'm going to be making one of these retro trees for Christmas, for a Christmas card. And I've got this paper. I forgot that I had it, but this is one that's got a little bit of a shimmer. I don't know if you can see it, and I thought, you know what? That might actually look kind of cool as the porcelain finish that was on these old-time cards. I've got a couple of other ideas for that kind of thing too, but this is what I'm going to start with, and I've just tested it to see whether or not this paper is actually inkable, and it is, so that's awesome. So I'm going to just start off by cutting out some of these. Probably going to cut out a couple of the trees. I think that is really, really cute. So now that I've got everything cut out, I'm going to color up my pieces. This is, again, that shimmery cardstock that I got from Michaels. And right now I'm just adding some Later Gator from Simon Hurley over the top using a paper pouncer. This works great when you're inking up die cuts. Next, I'm going to, let's see, I cut out our little garland, but I think I might actually leave that in white. I've got some Post-it tape on the back to hold everything in place on the die, and I also cut out those little bulbs. There's a die for all of those and a star. And for those, I'm going to actually use some alcohol markers. I've got some from. This is from Artify. I'm not affiliated with the company. This is just something that they gave to me when I was leaving Creativation this year, and I haven't really used it that much. I usually use my alcohol markers that are from Spectrum Noir, just because those are ones I'm used to. This is a smaller set, and I think they're a bit more, I don't know, pigmented, not as much alcohol. So I think that's going to work pretty good for what I'm using it for here. Okay, so next I'm going to start layering these up. Now this is some thin paper, so what I did is I went ahead and cut out more in just some white cardstock, and I'm just going to layer those up. So we're going to have basically let's see, did I do three? I did 3 layers in the back, so that's going to make it a little bit thicker, and it's going to make it pop up off the card better. Okay, so now we have a nice thick layer there. I also went ahead and cut out extras of all of the little bulbs. So we're going to do the same thing with them and layer up a bunch of them. I know it is a little extra work, but I'm going to really like that little extra dimension on my tree. So for all of the little lights, yeah, there was a lot of them. These little guys here, I'm sorry, they are about the size and shape of a watermelon seed. So they're all real little. And I wound up layering, I think, like 2 behind each one, and decided that's probably thick enough. I'm going to go ahead and start putting everything together. So starting off with my star up at the top. And because they're so small, they were also pretty hard to try to actually get them on straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my markers and I'm going to color the edges of each of my little ornaments or little bulbs here. That way it's not going to show as much on our tree. Instead, we're just going to have the color of that little bulb. So let's just put the first blue one here. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and then add my little bulb. And we're going to do that with all the rest of our little bulbs. So I'm going to go ahead and put down the rest of my garland on here, and then I need to cut out more of the bulbs. It turns out that, and I should have thought of this before, there are two different sizes for our tree. One's a small and one's a large, and I'm of course playing with the large one, which means I don't have enough bulbs for my tree. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out and color them up and get them all done and get them added onto the tree, just like the others. I mean, isn't that turning out just so cool with that little extra dimension from the extra die cuts in the back? I am loving this little tree. So for my background, I'm using this piece from the pattern paper pack. This is from the Retro Christmas. I'm going to just add that to my card base with some liquid glue. There we go. And now I'm going to add my tree. Now, one thing I was thinking about with the tree, I like the design, but I kind of want to give it a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more, I guess. So I'm going to actually bend it a little bit. And I'm just going to use my glue bottle to do this. So I'm just bending it a little bit to kind of give it a little bit of a rounded shape. And then I'm going to pop it up on a little bit of foam, going right down the center and then gluing the edges down onto my card base. And I think I'm debating. I think I'm going to use some foam squares for this. These are thicker than my standard foam tape that I normally use. So if I use this will give it a little bit more of a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to add some foam squares right down the center of the card of my little tree. And then I'm going to use some, I would normally say I'm going to use some glue, but instead this time I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive to hold this down really, really well. So I'm just going to add some of this down along the edges of my tree. Okay, so because I have the double-sided adhesive holding it down on the edges and that foam in the middle, it's got a little bit of a curve. Just a little bit, not a lot, but I think that turns out pretty cool. I do think I need to put another foam dot though behind my, get right behind my star. So because I just missed that, I'm going to add it just using my tweezers, taking the release paper off on both sides. And then I'll just tuck that in underneath my little star. There we go. Next, I'm going to add a sentiment. Now, the sentiment that I'm using is the Merry Christmas. This is from this stamp set. This one is called, where's the name? Okay, here it is, Holiday Tags and Postcards. So I'm using the Merry Christmas stamp from that. Just stamp that in some red Simon Hurley Bee Sting ink. And then I'm going to use some of the excess from my little piece of foam squares, just cut off of the edge. Don't waste it. I mean, you know, you don't need to throw it away. You can definitely use all of the excess stuff that you have from your different products there. So I'm just going to add this to the back of my sentiment so it's popped up just like the tree is. Give it a little bit of dimension. And now I'll go ahead and add this onto my card. There we go. So for the star, I'm going to add some gold stickles. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then if I need to, I can always add a little bit more to touch it up, because I did go a little bit thick on it. I also want to add some of my Nouveau, this is glitter accents. I'm going to add that to the garland. And there we go. That is going to finish up this card using the new Christmas collection from Scrappy Tales. I will leave all of the products down that I used today down in the links below. You guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out the playlist to see more projects where I'm using Scrappy Tales products. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.